Hey everyone, this is the spot on Photoshop template tutorial. It's our newest one going into fall sports here, but obviously you can use it for anything. But anyway, I'll just kind of run through, show you some of the layers we have, and then we'll get to work on it. Just right off the top here, we just have a vignette layer. Feel free to kind of drag that under other layers if you want. If you want like the text to kind of show on top of the vignette, whatever you want to do. Um, then down here we have it's kind of two subjects on here, so you can use it as a single subject or a dual subject. So if you want to add somebody down here, that's just right here, going to be right here in this top full body image folder. Your text, that's just going to be this main number in the middle, the name and the class or whatever you want to put down here in the subtext. Then we have the main subject here in the middle and the circle kind of thing. If you don't want that, if you want it to kind of come down here and be a single subject type thing, you can do that, or you can just, you can still do that with a dual subject, but then you can kind of turn that off, move some of the text around, play with the mask here if you want, and kind of extend her further down, however you want to do it. We'll get into that though. For now, I want to turn that one back on. All right, then you just have your background layers folder, and that's basically everything behind your subject here, just kind of these accents, this big circle, anything you might want to add to the center circle. As with a lot of my templates, I encourage you to drop in your own logos or other photos you may have. And then let's see, we got the school, just a simple text line here on the top. Optional logos, that's if you want to add some things down here in the corner. And then we have just your main background back here, and then there's a color grade to that we'll get into. So you can open this up, and then included is just some arena lights and some clouds. Or again, drop in your own, like if you have a picture of a stadium or something like that from your high school or a travel team, just whatever you want to do. For now, I'll keep the arena lights on. Then we have kind of this paper overlay. If you zoom in, you can see that just right in here. And then I also have a mask so it can kind of fade off when you get into the stadium lights. To do that, just hold shift and click that mask, and you can see that paper kind of fade out, and then you just see the stadium lights. If you want to turn that back on, just hold shift again, click that mask. Then you have your main background color. So let's get right into it. I am going to create a hockey player in here. Good news, I just picked up this whole league. This was just a neighbor's kid who played hockey, and now they want me to come do an entire academy. So I'll be going in there and working with that. Anyway, I'm going to grab my move tool, make sure my select subject is on. I'm going to click my main subject here in the middle first. And I have my guys over here. I'm just going to click this one back, copy, Command or Control V to paste him, Command or Control T I want to use just to kind of scale him where I want. And you'll notice, you probably see it over here, this mask is a little weird. Wasn't sure how to do it for limbs or something that's dropping off, and I'll show you in a minute how you can kind of fix that. But I think I have the mask set to where it'll work with most people. As long as their body is just kind of fitting right in here, you should be good. I'm going to let that stick hang off the edge just a little. I don't mind when that happens. Not too much though. I want to keep him about right there. Let's push him down with my arrow key just a little. Alright, I want to hide that back one. And you'll notice this text here got hidden. It's okay. I'll show you kind of what we can do with that shortly. Let's go ahead and change this one too. I'm just going to click on her because I have my auto select, so it's just automatically selecting her. I want to go back in here. I'm going to select this one, Command or Control C to copy it. Make sure All right, Command or Control V to paste it. Command or Control T to transform, which is just resizing. I want to put him, I think, about right there. Yeah, about right here. And shift him over just a little bit. Nice. I just realized I forgot what number he is. He's 4. Okay, so let me hide this other layer. And first thing I want to do is come under here. If you haven't created shadows already, I'm just going to create it for this guy real quick. I'm just going to create a new layer right under him. And I actually have a shadow brush, but if you don't, hit B for my brush. Whoops, sorry, B for brush. Actually, I have it now kind of selected. If you don't have one of these, it's real easy. Excuse me, just grab a big round soft brush like that and get this and just squish it like that. Super easy. Alright, we're going to create shadows across a few layers here. Excuse me, just getting over a gnarly cold. Alright, that's going to be kind of a shadow for the stick. I'm going to lower that down. It's kind of holding it up, so I don't want it to kind of to touch the ground. I'm going to hit down here this little box with the plus, start another layer, and I'm going to kind of put one right there, just kind of get that pad, and actually let's make it a little bigger. Right there, and then kind of right in here. Same thing, I'm just going to lower the opacity about 51, but one more right there. Alright, do another layer. I want to make this one smaller. Everybody has their favorite way of doing these. This is just kind of how I do it. And I'm just going to go along the edge of that skate there a couple times. Just give it a good shadow. Good, hard, dark shadow. About like that. Alright, one more layer. I want to grab this same brush. I'm just going to fatten it just a little bit like that. And let's see, make it bigger. And another thing, since he's angled, I want to angle the shadow. So I want to, let's see if that works. A little too much. And we're going to make it a little thicker. About right there. And then obviously we're going to lower that a whole lot. Right there. Let's see what these are doing again. I think this one here I'm going to lower even more. There we go. And then the one for a stick, I'm going to lower that even more too. Like right there. Cool. Then I'm just going to click that first one, the foreground subject. I'm going to hold shift and click that last brush, or sorry, the shadow I did, and then I'm going to do Command or Control E, just combine all these into one layer there. Cool. I'm just going to leave it there. Let's start playing with some text for a second. So these guys are the Pineville Falcons. I'm going to leave that there. If you notice this text in here, you can see it there. I want to grab my text tool. Actually, let's do auto select. I want to make it so you can see it. So I tapped it. You see here where it says sport. Here's the trick of rotating this text here. Hold Command or Control and make sure sport is selected, and then also click center circle. So make sure they're both selected. Then Command or Control T, and now I'm going to rotate that just a little. You can put it anywhere you want, as you can see. I'm going to put it about right there for now. Alright, now I'm going to grab my text tool and I'm just going to click in here. Command or Control A to select all of it, and I'm just going to say 12U hockey. right there. You know, if I'm being picky, I can still kind of rotate it or change the size if I want. I'm just going to leave it there for now. All right, I'm going to come down here, change his name. Whoops, sorry, Command or Control A. I'm just doing the first name. I was typing the whole name in there. All right, and I'm just going to change the class. Sorry. Let's see if I can pick it. No, it's hard. So here's what I usually do is just hide that last name, come in here, select class, Command or Control A, and I'm just going to put his position in there, which is, oh, sorry, goalie. Say OK, turn that back on. All right, and his number, I still have my move tool. I'm just going to click right on that number, Command or Control A, or you can just backspace. 4 was his number. All right, and there we have it. Now let's start playing with some colors and stuff like that. Real quick, just because it's driving me crazy, I want to get rid of these icons down here for now. All right, let's scroll back up to the top. I'm going to hide that, hide that. Actually, you know what? Let's play with the background for a minute. So I'm going to select him again with my select all. And I'm just going to hide the main subject for a minute. So let's play with this back section. And that is going to be in your background layers. So let's zoom in. If you look again, we have, well, we never went over these at the beginning, but I apologize, but we will now. So there's another kind of paper overlay here that's just covering the center circle. When you're playing with these, as you change colors, it might look weird. So I will when that's selected, I'll go up here to the blending options, and I might change from overlay to soft light, something like that. Or, yeah. Really just kind of between these two. It's not doing much with this color. Whoops, sorry. But we'll play with it. So right here, you can come in, drop a logo, or if you want a different picture or a photo, you can do that. So today we're going to play with this ice. Look here, let me unlock it here. Sorry, copy. I want to put it in here just to see what it looks like. All right, Command or Control T. I'm just going to make it bigger. As you can see, it's only affecting this layer. There we go. Sorry, my mask is a little off. I'll be sure to fix that before I release this guy. All right, there we go. And let's see how I want to do this. I want to turn that paper texture off for now. In the meantime, here's what I like doing too. On the very top, I'm going to go ahead and paste their logo. Copy, because I will sample colors from this. So I'm just going to move it down here, Command or Control T. I'm going to make it a little smaller from now. I mean, it's just black and red, but I don't know. I like getting that red exactly correct. So I'm just going to scroll all the way to the bottom. I like working kind of from the bottom up. So I'm going to double click background color. I think we're going to go with a darker, or I might do red. Let's play with just the darker. I don't want it stark black, so I want to kind of just make it like a really dark gray. Like right in here. And now you'll see what I'm talking about. See this paper texture? So now I'll go to this one down here, and I think I want to change it just to soft light. And it didn't really do much of a difference, and that's okay. We'll just get the opacity, and we're going to lower it just a little. Let's do 50%. And it lightened up the background just slightly when I did that, so I want to go in and make it just a little darker again. All right, I want to keep those arena lights up here. All right, now let's do this text up here. I want to just double click it. Notice I had my move tool. You can't just double click it and it'll automatically do text. Or you can just grab your text tool and click in there and select all, however you want to do it. All right, now I'm just going to go up here and change it. I think we're just going to stick with white. Same thing here on the side. select all. I'm going to change it to white. Now if you want to, you can go in here and change the stroke color or turn it off. Same with the inner shadow, stuff like that. You can play with all that, turn it off. Just double click stroke, and then you'll see it's set as a gradient, or you can just select a single color, however you want to do it. I'm just going to keep it there though, with that color. Doesn't bother me. With this main logo now, actually, sorry, let's change some colors down here. So I'm going to select it. I still have auto select turned on, and then I'll open up this name folder, and you'll see the effects I have here. So there's a stroke around the text here, and then there's a gradient overlay. So let's just double click effects. Let's keep, I think I want to keep that stroke kind of that white, kind of gray to white. And the gradient overlay, let's see if this red works or if it's too dark. So it's going from like a light blue to a dark blue. So I will keep that going. Let's select this red, and I'm going to lighten it up just a little. Still want it kind of saturated. And then I want it to fade to this exact red, like that. Let's see, let's make this one just a little darker still. There we go. I'll just keep it there. Same thing with the number. I'm going to change the color to this red, and then I also might turn on this color overlay and select the same red, and just kind of gives a little more. So if you want it to kind of, if you want to be able to see through it, I just kind of turn that off, and it still has this red cast to it. Or you can turn color overlay on and just kind of lower the opacity there if you want. Alright, let's see here. Now we have these accents that we can play with. So I'm going to click one of those with my select all. Gradient overlay, same thing. I'm just going to grab, first off I want to move these in. Feel free to move just these bottom ones. Kind of move them in, and as you see it's like a harsher transition with the colors. I'll keep it about right there. And I'm going to select, I think I want to keep that kind of that gray, and then the black I'm going to change to this red. Now I can see what it's doing better. I'm going to bring that red a little more in, as well as this gray. So there, kind of keep it there for now. I'm going to come down to, this was arrows 1 by the way, and there's some right behind them. You can also turn that off and just use this plain bar if you want. So same thing here, double click it, gradient overlay. I want to grab this dark, or this black, I want to change it to that red, and I'm going to leave that gray where it's at. Let's see, yeah, we'll keep that there, that's fine. Nice. Alright, we're getting there. What else? Oh, we got these little dots. Sorry, I almost didn't see them because they're real dark right now. So you'll see dots 1 and dots 2. Let's realize that mask is still messed up as well, so let me fix it. Again, I'll make sure all this is fixed before it's released. Alright, so let's play with the color of these. So it's set up as a gradient overlay, but I think for this one I'm just going to switch it to a solid color, and let's just do straight white. And as you see, it's still kind of faint. That's because the opacity is at 25. I think I want to bring it up to 50. Alright, then same thing here. So that will be dots 1 up here. Double click, color overlay. Sorry. Oh, come on. There we go. I want to change it to white. I want to change that opacity to 50. Keep it there. Nice. Cool. So now with this logo, let's turn our, actually I'm going to get it and I'm going to drag it to the bottom, in the logos folder. Sorry, I got all these things opened up now. It's a mess. And I'm going to set it right there on top of that ice. So I'm going to start closing some of these folders up, so it's not such a mess and so confusing. There's a lot of layers to this template, so it can start to look a little messy. Alright, first off, I forgot to show you this, but we are kind of black, so it's not really changing much, but it's basically a color grade, which it'll color grade these lights. Actually, you know what? Let's see what this red looks like. That actually looks kind of cool, and I'm going to do that. I want to keep it there. So it just adds a slight color grade to these stadium lights or the clouds back here, or whatever you decide to put in that folder. So yeah, we'll keep that that red. And I'm not sure if I'm loving that ice there, but let's go ahead and turn our subject back on. And as you see, it's, the ice is back there. Now what we can do with this ice is, let's see, let me think of something. We can double click it, and we can always do a color overlay here. It is white right now, and then we can do like a color blend, so it's not a bunch of blue in there. I don't mind if it's a little blue, so let's lower this to like 65%. I don't hate that, but let's turn it off for now. Now you got this background color. Where's that coming from? Right here. It's just the center circle. So double click center circle effects. You have the gradient overlay. Let's click that again. Let's do this red again. Now I lost it. It's okay. We're gonna kind of go from there to make this one a little darker actually. I want it to fade pretty dark. There we go. Now what we can do is play with this logo some. So Command or Control T, and we can kind of hide this logo in there a little bit. You can blow it up real big, kind of like let it run off the edges. This one's going to pixelate some if we do that. So if you have a better copy of one, I would recommend that. Or yeah, can't really see it. So what we're going to do is grab this logo again, drag down some more. We're going to drop it in to my optional logos folder here. And there's a color overlay, so I'm going to turn that off. Now it's just the logo there. Command or Control T. It's hiding behind him, so you're not going to see it. And if you want, you could always just kind of drop that down here in the corner if you wanted a logo at all. I don't hate it there really. You could keep it. Whoops, sorry. I had my auto select on. If you try to have your auto select on and you're trying to grab things in the corner, as you see sometimes, here let's grab something else. As you see, sometimes it'll grab the vignette. So sometimes I'll turn that off while I'm working. Another thing you can do is kind of drag that behind the player. If you haven't noticed yet, I like kind of overlapping elements. You could always kind of drag that behind him if you wanted. But I think in this case, I think I'm just going to turn it off. We don't need it. It's not completely necessary. Hold on. I keep thinking of new things. You could always kind of bring it around here under the name as well. That's not too bad. I don't mind it. It's kind of busy, but whatever. You get the idea. You know what you're doing. Supposed to do with it. Obviously, if I was doing this for a client, I'd be a little more picky, spend a little more time, but I'm just showing you guys how you can do everything. All right, so basically, I would probably leave this as is. I'm going to grab that text here. I'm going to hold Command or Control, center circle, Command T. Sorry, I got distracted here with that. So here's normally where I would just kind of leave it where it's at. But I think I'm going to save a copy. Actually, just for now. Instead of doing all that, I'll just take a screenshot of it, make sure it saved it. Yeah. Now I was going to show you how to do kind of the full body, or sorry, the single subject if you want. So hold on, I'm going to copy him out of here, Command or Control C. I'm going to turn that off. Now I'm going to open up this subject 2, Command or Control V to paste him there. Command or Control T again. We're just going to kind of line him up right where we want him. Let's move him about right there. Hide her. And basically that's it for that. I mean, it's pretty simple. Now, if you want to keep it like this with the text and the number and the other subject, you can. Or if you're doing volume and you don't want to deal with all that, turn off the full body image. Make sure my auto select's on. I'm going to grab this number 4. I'm going to kind of drag it over here, or you can drag it wherever you want, really. Kind of keep the name. I'm going to, alright, first name, I'm going to hold Command or Control, click last name and class. Make sure all 3 are selected, Command or Control T, and you can always kind of shrink the name over here as well. And just move it wherever you want. Alright, I'm going to grab this logo again. Just kind of move it down here. Or maybe we could, oops, sorry. Let me try to, you gotta move slowly sometimes with your cursor with the auto select. Or we could always kind of bring it back around here with the number. But again, I think I'm just going to turn it off for now. Alright, so there's a lot of space here. That's fine. So now what I'm going to do is go back to this subject 2. There's 2 things you can do to fix that. Command or Control T. Let's see, I think that should move the mask as well. Yep. But you're making the subject bigger when you do that, but that's okay. So you can do that, or I'm going to do Command or Control Z to undo that. Or you can just grab right here, I have the gradient tool. Gradient tool, I'm going to make sure it's in linear gradient and from black to white. What I'm going to do is make sure that mask is selected, and then just click here, and I'm going to drag it up. Here's what's going to help you get that straight though. Hold shift and you'll see it's in like increments, it'll snap. So you can do that. If you want to move the bottom, just click the bottom, hold shift again. So that's how you can kind of redo the gradient mask on that layer folder. So there we have it. Not happy with it though. I'm going to fix it there, move it up a little. There we go. So yeah, that's pretty much it. All these little accents back here, again, you can turn on or off if you feel like it starts to get a little busy. Turn some stuff off. That's fine. You don't have to have these dots. You don't have to have the arrows or anything like that. I like mine just a little busy sometimes, but I also like extremely simple and kind of stripped down looks as well. So that's how you would do just a single subject on this. Feel free to drop your own images into the background. I highly suggest you do it, actually. It's real easy. Just go take a photo at the gym or the arena or the football stadium, wherever, baseball stadium. Get some clouds with stadium lights in here or something like that, or a locker room. It could be lockers. And, you know, the sky's the limit. Put it here in the background or here in the center circle. Drop it where we were playing with the logos earlier in here. But yeah, just feel free to get creative, get weird. I can't wait to see what you guys come up with. And if you have any questions on any of this, as always, feel free to hit me up or join our Facebook group. Go in there. Feel free to ask questions there. I can help answer them. If not, some of the other template users, they can probably answer them for you as well. Or you can see inspiration from what they've maybe created. Stuff I haven't thought of, stuff you haven't thought of. So I encourage you to join that. But thank you for watching, and feel free to hit me up with anything. Thank you.